How are we? Keeping well? We've got a lot of Americans here tonight. Lovely stuff. Whip if you're American, big cheer. Nice. So for anyone who's not American, please don't let me bomb in front of them. They will retaliate. I'm scared. I don't know if you guys saw the news lately. Where's this going? Here we go. Robert F. Kennedy stepping away from the election. And it seemed like a particularly easy election to at least just stick around for. I was surprised to see he dropped out, but then I realised, I guess when he saw there was an assassination attempt and realised it wasn't against the Kennedy, he was like, no one gives a fuck about me right now. No one gives a fuck about me right now. I don't know, I can imagine if he was president and he's in a cavalcade down Dallas and in the distance you hear, Joe's back. Oh God, that's been bothering me for years. I don't know. Wow. I'm sure he's doing well. It's great being here. I've been performing in the last few weeks. It's good fun. I got a new job there recently, which is a nice change. I fucking hate it so much. There was a big row in there today, and for a change, I tried to stay quiet because over the course of my life, I talk too much and I drink too much, and they tend to be a net negative. So even recently I was like, I want to do stand-up, I've always loved it, I've always wanted to try it, so I started stand-up with, you talk a lot, and as you can tell, it's fucking going great. But years ago, I used to work just down the road, there was like a mental health facility, which there still is. I used to work security there, I was like 20, when it was acceptable to get way too drunk. And I was working there one day, and all I had to do was open this gate, close this gate, as the patients went in. There was this guy called Tom. 6-7 times a day, Tom would walk by me, yo, Dan, is fish good for you? Is fish good for you, Dan? And I go, yeah, Tom, fish is good for you. Yes. Yeah. Best friendship I've ever had. No strings attached. Fish good? Yeah, sound brother. It was great. But one day I got really drunk, as a 20-year-old does. And I was at work the next day, crying. There was cars beeping outside to open the gate. I'm like, stop with the noise, I'm sorry. But Tom would walk by 5 or 6 times, is fish good for you? I'm like, yeah, Tom, fish is fucking so good, Tom. Fish is great. He's like, yes! And I'm like, yeah. But one of the times he walked by me and he asked again, and my thing is when I'm hungover, I try and act normal. I want people to treat me like I'm normal because I feel a bit ashamed and I want to come across, everything's fine. So Tom asked me, is fish good for you? And I went, yeah, Tom, but don't eat too much. And Tom went, huh? And I went, Tom. And Tom went, ah! And I went, oh, Tom. So I come out of my little hut, and Tom is there in the road going, fish! And I'm like, no, Tom, fish is great! Fish is great, Tom. And a nurse comes outside and she sees a 50-year-old mentally ill man screaming, fish! And a 20-year-old hungover lad going, no, Tom, fish! Fish! I don't think she knew who to take into care at the time. And I was like, I'm going to lose my job, I'm fucked, this is bad. I came into work the next day, I'm like, oh, what's going to happen? And Tom came up, I'm like, hey, Tom, listen. He goes, is fish good for you, Dan? I'm like, I tell you, little faker. What the fuck? This is great. I need your brain. That's fine. I wish I forgot. But I moved site the next week. They didn't really care about it. I get a lot of my shite talk from my dad. He's a real spoofer. And my dad loves bigging up a story. He seems to pick up all the stories, except like most Irish men, his actual medical health, like his actual important things. Like I didn't know my dad had cancer till he was like, I don't have cancer anymore. And I was like, what? And he was like, I didn't want to worry the family. That was last year. Last week I was on my lunch break and I'm like to my dad, hey, how's things? Have you got much on today? And he's like, I've got that thing on later. And I was like, oh, what's on? Like, is there a meeting at work? He was like, oh, no, the heart surgery. I was like, the what? I was like, when did you need heart surgery? He was like, oh, yeah, like, I did, like, the whole right side just not working, apparently most of my life. And the thing is, the problem with him is, as much as he overplays every other story, dads will downplay, not only downplays, like, they will go Trumpian with their fucking medical records. Like my dad came out of that heart surgery, it was like the doctor said it's the best heart he's ever seen. My dad tried to say that the fucking the student doctors clapped. They applauded when the surgery was done. He was like, I saw the blood rush to the other side of my heart. I was like, how? He was like, oh, they had a camera. They had a camera. And he was like, they all applauded. They all applauded. And can you imagine? It's like, yeah, the camera was so strong it couldn't even detect my pulse. It's like, yeah, oh wait, fuck, no, that's not good. Yeah. My dad loved to gargle like I do. My problem was I got more into alcohol accessories, cocaine, and that was a real fucking doozy for about 6 years. 6 years and a few days. Payday on Friday, baby. But yeah, no, I was at a gaff one day, and the problem with like drugs. Oh, you guys are from Orlando. You know all about this. You probably. But the problem with doing stuff like coke is you will not want to do that shit anymore. But then like one good thing will happen in the night that will make it all worthwhile. Like you'll burn the ear off everyone, you'll spend €200, your nose is bleeding, you don't know how to get home, but someone was like, man, the way you fucking opened that beer was cool, and you're like, 2 years of this is pretty fun. But one time I was standing with a friend, I was in his house, and he started to be, as you can tell, I ran through a charity shop drunk last weekend, trying this whole thing. But I tend to just wear like jeans and a t-shirt, that's kind of my shit. Jeans and a t-shirt's all I really wore. And my friend turned to me one night, he was like, Dan, you should get shirts. You should get shirts, Dan. And I was like, man, you know, I don't really care about what I wear. And his housemate came up who I fancied at the time, and she was like, you should get shirts. And I was like, I fucking love shirts so much. Is there any shirts in this house, right? Like a bag of shirts maybe that we could all share for the card? And my mate ran into his room and brought these 2 shirts out, these lovely shirts, and I put one on and she went, like, that's a really nice shirt. And you know, I'm like the little shirt boy, and it's been great. And I thought I had this great idea. I was like, instead of having to go out and buy clothes, which I hate to do, I was like, what if I just go to parties with drugs, and like I'll do drugs and give people drugs, and then go like, hey, that's a nice shirt you've got there, would you like some drugs for it? And that was a great idea. I went home, I had this whole, it's like fucking, fuck Depop, this is C-pop, baby. I couldn't wait for it. And so I was in bed, and the palpitations are running, the anxiety is flowing, and the blood is pumping through my heart, and none of it through my fucking penis. Sorry, ladies. And I'm looking up at the ceiling as the anxiety hits, and all I could think was, oh, it'd be much easier to just buy shirts. And that's my time anyway, guys. I've been Thank you.